Okay, this video is going to go through weeks 15 and 16, which are the final weeks of the semester. It includes both the last week of instruction, which is through Monday, and then finals time. We do not have a final exam in this class. I just want to let you guys know, no final exam. You do not need to do anything like that online, but you will need to upload documents during the finals time. And so I'm going to go through all of that right now here in this video. So first, I've updated the information for weeks 15 and 16. Feel free to read through that. I've loaded the job search assignment with all of the individual assignments that are required for that. And then there is an assignment link for the investigative reports that you have to create, the cover letter peer review and the discussion that you'll need to complete, and then the 2 final submissions. These 2 investigative reports are due December 11th. December 12th is the final day of actual instruction this semester, and then you'll have your final documents, which are your cover letter and your resume, due during our finals time, which is December 15th at noon. Again, these are due at noon, not 11:59 p.m. Everything else this semester has been due at midnight. Your 2 very, very final documents are due Thursday at noon. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Okay, so let's start off by going through the assignment sheet so you have an idea of what we're going to cover. So I give you some basic information. It's very, very true that finding a job can be a full-time job, so I'm trying to help prepare you in advance for finding a finding a job. So I want you to apply what you've learned to your job search documents. You're going to use Chapter 9 to help with your document preparation. So the first note that I want to make really clear, if you create, or as you create, because you are required to create a digital space or visualization of your resume, when you submit these documents, you need to make sure that they always match. Okay, so when I was on a search committee one time and we were searching for an administrative director personnel, the person who was applying for this particular director position misrepresented the dates on his resume that was submitted to us by paper compared to the dates that were listed in LinkedIn. And you better believe we noticed that, and then we questioned him about that, and there were no good answers. In this case, we questioned all of that after we had brought him in for an interview, which was kind of a problem, but you get the idea. You need to make sure you are responsible for your digital footprint. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do, the first investigative report, is to actually Google yourself. So all of the requirements are right here for the Google Yourself Investigative Report, and I have literally named it the Google Yourself Investigative Report because it's that important. So you're going to Google yourself, and then in an investigative report format, and this should be 1 to 2 pages max, you'll have an introduction where you talk about what you found out about you, how you can make good choices to control your digital image. You'll analyze what you did find and what decisions you should be making to control your digital image, and then you'll have a conclusion. Here are the steps you're going to take to remedy this in the future. Okay, so let's do an example. If I go to Google, and I need to Google all variations of my name, what am I going to find, and is that okay? So first thing that pops up is my position here at Millersville. That's good. The next thing that pops up is my blog. Also excellent. The third thing that pops up is an article that I had published. Also a very good thing. The next thing that pops up is an alternate reality game that I published. That might not be, depending on what kind of job I'm applying for, the best thing to appear as number 4. So I would want to try to change some of those and try to change some of the information that I know. Obviously, you're also going to get crap posts in there. That's fine. Potential employers will ignore those. What you want to control are these ones that you actually have control over. Okay, so now if we change my name to A. Nicole, because occasionally that's what I go by, again, we're looking for the same thing. In this case, it's still Millersville, it's still my personal, or in this case, it's Vita, which is a very important site for faculty members. My academia.edu page, I control that. My membership with different committees, and then my personal blog, all of these top 5 are things that I have control over. There are also spaces that in my recommendations I need to list out. I need to go and verify that all the information across each of these spaces matches. Do I have my dates represented the same? Do I have my job titles represented the same? Am I representing who I am as a scholar, who I am as a professor, who I am as a committee member the same across all of these spaces? Make sure you do the same thing for you. If nothing comes up for you, that is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something you might want to consider. Should you create a LinkedIn profile so that something does come up for you? What you will notice is Facebook does not appear here. One, I use a shortened version of Nicole for my Facebook profile to make it harder to find, but I also have the security locked down. Make sure that you clear your cache on your browser or use an unfamiliar computer so you can ensure that your security on your Facebook profile is set the way you want it to. If your tweets come up, these were academic tweets that you completed for this class, that could be a good representation. You might want that to come up. You need to make those decisions and then put them in your recommendations. If you have any questions about this portion, please send me a tweet. Second, you need to create a job search plan. How are you going to find these jobs? This is the plan to help you come up with that. So figure out how to do it. The book offers really good suggestions for where to find information. You also may know, depending on your field, better spaces for your particular needs. Figure that out. Go through the introduction, go through the analysis, why these spaces, what is it that they're looking for, why are the jobs making these particular choices, how can you find the most effective spaces. Let's cut down the amount of time it's going to take you to find the jobs with this report. So your conclusion is to establish a realistic plan. I want you to be able to find a job for you. You do not need to find a job in business writing. Instead, find a job in the field that is most interesting to you and then tell me how you're going to go about doing that. You guys are graduating fairly soon, so what is it that you can do to get your dream job? Or if you're currently in your dream job, what is it you can do to search for jobs to transfer to a higher pay scale or to transfer to a better title? All of those kinds of things can go into these conclusions and recommendations as well. Assignment number 2 is a cover letter. The book has, and I'm just going to show you very briefly right here, has very excellent examples of cover letters. I want you to pay really good attention to the cover letter information that they supply here, and I've listed it as a note here. Some jobs will ask for a one-page cover letter. Some jobs will allow you 2. Even faculty jobs where faculty members have 10 plus years of experience, they cannot go over 2 pages or their application will be thrown out. These are not recommendations, these are requirements. It's easier to pare down a list of applicants. If you have 200 applicants for a job and I can get rid of 100 because they didn't follow my requirements, done. That's the easiest way to legitimately get rid of potential employees. So make sure that you read those directions and you stick to what it is. So do the investigative report before you write the cover letter. Read Chapter 9 so you know which paragraphs belong with what. Follow the format that is included in Chapter 9. Single-spaced paragraphs that are in the block format, so no indents with the double space between them, is the standard format. If you do not follow the standard format, your cover letter will be kicked out. You want to make sure that yours looks like everybody else. It's the information and the word choice that's going to get you to the interview. So what we'll do for the cover letter, and I have some cover notes here, use active verbs, avoid the verb got. It is the worst verb in the English language. Avoid is and to be verbs. Instead, demonstrate. Make sure you have an individualized cover letter for every job you apply to, which means you need to create a list of topics, job experience that can be inserted as necessary for those jobs. You need to create that for this assignment because you will be submitting it to me. So cover letter peer review, you will peer review each other's cover letters. That will be due to the discussion board Sunday, 12/11 at 11:59 p.m. And then I need you to have the peer reviews done by Monday so that you guys have a couple days to actually update them. For the final submission, I want your final cover letter and I want your brainstorm list. Submit both of them to me, and then here's where the noon comes in. By Thursday, December 15th at noon, so I can get them graded, commented on, and have your grades posted as quickly as possible. The final portion of the required items is your resume and a digital space or a visual resume. You need to pick either digital space or visual resume. Either one, it's up to you. So traditional resume, Chapter 9 has really good examples. Again, I will show you. They have various formats for their particular examples. Follow any of the formats. Use a format or a template that you find in Word or Pages, a template that you found online. Any of those formats, any of those templates are fine as long as the information is in there. And it's the information that really matters. You need to use your experience to craft the resume. Do this for reals. Pretend like you're applying to a job on January 1st and really put together your resume. Some of you may already have them, so you just need to tweak it. Awesome. If you don't have a great resume yet, now's your chance. Get it done before you're actually graduating and applying for jobs all at the same day, because that's going to make your life miserable. Reminder, the length of a resume still matters. Some jobs require 1 page, some jobs will allow 2. So, like I say, use your Twitter skills to succinctly narrate your experience and skills. Similar resume notes, use active verbs, use parallel development in all of your bullet lists. So if you start with a verb, as you can see here, I used use, don't use the same verb because it gets really boring, but I used a present tense verb for each of my bullet points. You need to do the same grammatically in your list. Use a verb, use the same tense verb for each of your bullet points. The second piece is you need to create something either digital or visual. So there are a few different visualization tools. Visualize Me and About Me are really easy visualization tools that allow you to create an infographic of your existing resume. Or feel free to create or tweak a LinkedIn profile, a personal website that you want to use. Anything that takes you from the ordinary into I also have digital tech skills and I also have digital writing skills. All of those you've developed in this particular class. So create a secondary resume that matches both of those. The advantage to LinkedIn, Visualize Me, and About Me is that is searchable, which means employers can potentially find those particular pages about you when they Google you, and they will Google you. So I have more information about that. Each student can select any combination. If you choose to create a LinkedIn profile and you choose to visualize your resume, I will look at all of it. If you choose to just visualize your resume, that's fine. What you need to do is make sure that somehow this digital visual is uploaded as part of the final resume. So you'll upload the traditional resume document, and then you'll also need to somehow get me the digital visual. So it could be a LinkedIn URL. It could be a Visualize Me URL. You might download the infographic and then upload it. Your call, as long as I get it somehow. And then the big reminder, I know I said this at the beginning, but your digital space needs to match your resume. So your digital space can show more than your resume, but what your resume shows for a particular job needs to match in dates and in title to what you have on the visualized space. So if you're applying to a very specific job, so let's take me. If I were applying to a very specific job, I could remove, let's say that it's not specifically teaching related, I wouldn't list the courses that I've taught on the resume for that particular job application. If I'm applying to a teaching job, I'm absolutely lengthening my resume and including every single course that I've taught, every single course that I've developed, and I'm listing those out separately because that's really important information for the particular jobs that I'm applying to. My digital space is going to list all of it, but my resume does not necessarily have to. As long as the information matches, I can leave information off my paper resume so that my resume hits the one page and it meets the needs of that particular job, and then have more online, hence the huge bonus to having an online space, and then I'm still matching. If your dates don't match, you're in big trouble. Okay. Last piece there, I'm offering you guys optional, if you want to, mock interviews. So if you've never interviewed for a job, or if you've only interviewed for internships, or you just want additional practice with interviewing because you've struggled with it in the past, schedule an interview with me. I will interview you. I will ask questions that relate to the jobs that you're interested in so you can actually practice responding to these. There are a lot of really awkward jobs about how you interact with people of different cultures that you need to become really comfortable answering, and you need to come up with how to mentally track what examples you've already used so you can continue to use different examples as you continue to answer the questions so that you can demonstrate to a potential employer how well-rounded you are, how well-rounded your education is, and how solid of an employee you are. So I'm offering you the opportunity, if you would like, to interview with me to actually practice those skills. I note here you do not need to come in interview attire, but I will expect your responses to be taken seriously. And then once we've gone through all the questions, I'll take notes, we'll talk about it all. And that way you get notes and you get feedback back immediately. I have a lot of time during the last 2 weeks of classes during office hours. We can also schedule outside of that. And then during finals time, I can also schedule appointments with you because I will be in my office during our finals. If you have any questions about this assignment or any questions about the information that you read in the book, send me an email or send me a tweet and I will happily respond to them. Otherwise, good luck making it through finals and good luck working on your job documents. I'm really excited to read about them. I'll see you guys online.